Hello, welcome to your first video for your Missouri Constitution unit. Just want to remind you that the Missouri Constitution unit is not available in any textbook readings, so please make sure that you are paying very close attention to this video and taking excellent notes. Also, the Missouri Constitution test is the last test that you have to take and pass in order to graduate from Central High School. So let's get to work. Our learning objective for today will be to be able to discuss the structure and function of the Missouri state government, okay? So before we get to the actual Missouri Constitution, I want to talk to you a little bit about federalism. Federalism what? Federalism what? There's your wrap, okay? Federalism, as you remember, is the division of what? Of power. Of what? Between the state governments and the national government, okay? So in case you couldn't catch that through my rap, federalism is a division of power between the state government and the federal government, okay? So to give you a little background, just to refresh your memory about what federalism is and what role it played in our federal government and the creation of our government, the first two political factions that formed were the Anti-Federalists and the Federalists. Their main objection to one another was not only the addition of the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, but also the size and power of the federal government. Okay, the Anti-Federalists, if you remember, wanted to make sure that the federal government was very, very weak, almost as weak as it was under the Articles of Confederation, which, remember, didn't work. The Anti-Federalists wanted most of the power to be retained by the states. The Federalists, on the other hand, saw that it was necessary to create a stronger national government if the federal government, was going to survive. So the necessity of federalism. Some things I want you to think about as you think about why federalism is a good thing. First of all, federalism allows us to have a more effective governing system. Can you imagine how crazy it would be if there were no state-level governments, no local level governments, and the federal government in Washington, D.C. had to oversee all aspects of citizens' lives in all 50 states? It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work very well. Wouldn't be very effective or efficient. So since we're able to divide that power between the national government and the state governments, there are certain things that the state governments can do, certain things that the federal government can do, kind of divide that burden of government up a little bit. Also, federalism is a good way for us to kind of like experiment with certain laws. I'll give you an example. Same-sex marriage is only legal in certain states in the United States. So you could argue that the federal government, based on how state governments respond to same-sex marriage, Sorry for that interruption. You could argue that we could see how state-level governments and states feel about same-sex marriage and how those laws work at the state level. You could say that maybe we might eventually adopt something like that at the federal level. But, you know, who knows? Anyway, let's move on then to some Missouri fun facts. First of all, Missouri started off as a slave state. That's something that people are often confused about because we know that, you know, Missouri never joined the Confederacy. And we often associate the Confederacy only with slaveholding states. But Missouri was a slaveholding state, and that's how we joined the Union. We became a state in 1821 as a result of the Missouri Compromise. Now, the Missouri Compromise, as its name implies, was a compromise that people came up with that would allow Missouri to become a state, but it also allowed Maine to become a state. So under statehood, I would probably jot down Missouri Compromise and then write a few things down as I talk about it. So the Missouri Compromise in 1821 allowed Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state and allowed Maine to enter the Union as a free state. And it also said that any state that was south of Missouri's southern border would enter the Union as a slave state, and any state that was north of that would enter the Union as a free state. And that any time a state entered the Union, it had to enter with a pair in order to keep that balance of slave and free state. Moving on then to capital cities. Our current capital city is Jefferson City. Hopefully you know that. Our first capital city was actually St. Charles. So as our state got a little older, our capital was moved to a more central location. We've actually had 4 different state constitutions, and the one that we use today was adopted in 1945. So right about the time World War II was ending, our current Missouri State Constitution was adopted. Salus populi suprema lex esto. There is a Latin phrase for you. Walk around school saying it. It'll make you sound really smart. Salus populi suprema lex esto is Latin, like I said. And here's the translation. It means, let the will of the people be the supreme law. Now, there's some words in there that we can pick out and figure out that it's kind of talking about the people and law. Populi kind of sounds like population, which refers to the people. Suprema, obviously, sounds like supreme. But that's pretty much it. But that is actually Missouri's state motto, okay? The state slogan is the Show Me State, but our state motto is Salus populi suprema lex esto, which means let the will of the people be the supreme law. And bluebirds, bumblebees, and mules, oh my. We're going to talk in class about some of the fun things about Missouri, some fun facts. But you all probably know that bluebirds are the state bird. No, it is not the cardinal. I don't know why it's not the cardinal. It's just not. Bumblebees, or I think it's actually the honeybee, is our state insect, and the mule is our state mammal. And we will talk about our state aquatic animal, our state fossil, our state mineral in class. And this is where I'm going to stop for today because in our next video, we'll actually get into the Missouri Constitution, the document, and we'll look at different aspects of it. So please make sure that you have taken notes on your Google Doc and you have been interacting with the questions on Edpuzzle. See ya.